Side Order has been out for a couple of weeks now, and have you noticed that almost nothing from the original trailer even made it into the game? It's like they had all these ideas about what Side Order could have been, but that just faded into obscurity. So today I want to dissect the first ever trailer and use the knowledge we have within Side Order to see if I can make an elaborate retelling of what Side Order could have been. First, let's talk about the development of Side Order. Some people say it was rushed and others say it can't be rushed because it got delayed. Well, here's my stance. Based on the data mines, Side Order was internally delayed by roughly half a year. But seeing how almost nothing from the original trailer was in Side Order itself, then I think the original concept of Side Order changed midway through production, hence the delays, but this final version was slightly rushed to not release too late into Splatoon 3's lifespan, even though it was announced like 2 years ago. But anyway, now to talk about the trailer itself. The trailer opens up from a bird's eye view of the now bleak Inkopolis Square. The first cutaway is to this dark image which presumably represents neural links, which hints at the fact that this world is made up of people's memories / emotional desires. Then the elevator is shown off, which we know is an important aspect of Side Order. The next cutaway shows off these ghost-like ripples which kind of resembles Order's tentacles, aka Smalas, which honestly is kind of fascinating. The next cut I don't really understand, so I'm just gonna skip it, but after that they show a very blurry image of a happy Pearl and Marina. I don't know what exactly they're doing. It could be Pearl holding an apple, or it's them getting ready probably for their world tour. And so Pearl is doing her makeup while Marina holds a blow dryer, but that's just a guess. Then another brain is shown. But next up we have this really cool shot of 8 who is holding some sort of Order splatter shot. And it looks to be a mixture of the splatter shot and the 52 gal. In her right hand, she is also holding a bottle-like substance, which kinda looks like the bottle splatter color screen deploys from. Finally, in this corner looks to be a hint at Pearl Drone, but that honestly might just be a stretch. So I accidentally forgot about this frame, but if you were to ask me, then it's probably just a placeholder for Oct because 8 is already established to wear white at this point. So yeah. Next we have 8 staring into a dark ocean covered in neural links. I think this represents 8 struggling to recall her time under Octavio's influence, or possibly her trying to come to terms with her dark past and having to relive it. Then we see a scared Marina, and this image made people theorize that this is where the idea of Side Order came from, since Marina said she wanted to maintain order because she was afraid of losing Pearl. So Side Order was thought to be this alternate timeline where due to Chaos winning, Marina does lose Pearl and makes this world of order to preserve her happiness and stay with Pearl forever. Next we have another shot of 8 inside the elevator, and what's interesting about this picture is that there's a faint reflection of 8 that gets cut off right before the eyes. It really makes you wonder how much of this story was gonna further develop 8's character. Honestly, I don't know what this next shot is supposed to be, but it kind of looks like that one round boss, and if you look closely you can sort of make out a figure that looks kind of like 8. Next we have a shot of 8 staring at the elevator, and from these images you can just see how much more dreary this DLC was supposed to be compared to what we actually got. Following that we have a shot of 8 climbing the spire in the distance, and it shows us the sheer size of one room and how desolate it is within the spire. Then it's followed up by who knows what this is. Next we get a Pearl jump scare, and this could be from 8's POV as seen from the beginning of the game, or this could be how Marina interprets Pearl to symbolize what Marina so desperately wants to preserve. The reason I think this could be Marina's POV is due to the light shining behind Pearl. To Marina, Pearl was this shining gleam of light that essentially saved her and guided her after she was free from the Octarian shackles. After that, we get a reveal of the new enemies within Side Order, being the Gelatins, and we also see 8 in a hallway in front of the Gelatins ink, but there's this suspicious red ink here for some reason. We then get to see another shot of 8 inside of the elevator. Next comes a really dark scene that they probably added so we can speculate who the real enemy is within Side Order, and this picture is giving me the same energy as Order himself. Finally, we get 3 more images of 8. The first one is of 8 on the floor with their hand on their head, probably showcasing that they lost their memory, or at least that memory will be an important motif. Next we have 3 identical 8s being showcased in some sort of assembly line. This may be done to show how as soldiers from a young age, all they really know is how to help the Octarian army, so much so that at the end of the day, they all blended together, maybe even making them seem replaceable. And lastly, we get this picture of 8 curled up in a ball. They look frightened and yet hopeful, as if they don't know what to do next, but whatever it is, it could lead them to something better. This image seems like how 8 would react after being free from Octavio's hold, immediately after hearing Calamari incantation and being freed. 8 may be confused because she's an Octarian at heart, but she longs to see the world above, and as seen in some memcakes, she feels traitorous to her people, and yet she still longs to see what the rest of the world has to offer. Quote, "I leave without ceremony. Don't be too sore. I wanted more. My sincerest apology." And, "The world I knew seems like a trap. I'm drawn now to the strange and new. Would my old friends think me a sap?" You can tell that she is conflicted leaving behind the world she knew, and maybe the DLC was going to expand on that. Now that all the images have been dissected, I will try to spin this into a cohesive story alongside the things that did make it into side order. So here's my take on what side order could have been. Following the events of the Splatfest, Marina creates the members. The original intent of the members was to relive memories so the victims of Tartar could all regain their memories. But also, in the event that Pearl and Marina do split apart, then Marina will have something to cling on to, being her memories. While testing the members, Marina discovers the exploit found within the Sea Cucumber phones, but for some reason doesn't patch it out. This leads to an error when they're testing the members by putting 8 inside of it. The error brings out the worst of 8's memories. The moment of them feeling lost or alone within the Octarian army. These powerful memories are amplified and take over the members, corrupting the Spire. Now it's your job as 8 to relive and take control of the past, fighting dark versions of yourself and seeing the events of Splatoon 1 and 2's campaign under the lens of an Octarian. While this is all happening, the data used to create the members takes shape as Marina's desires. Both Marina and 8 fear change, even though it's what saved them. So with this, Marina's fear of losing Pearl manifests itself as the final obstacle, a strong desire of not wanting to let go or move forward. Pearl and 8 climb the Spire to take back 8's memories and to assure this new Marina that Pearl would never abandon them. Side order ends with you defeating Marina, and her accepting that change isn't so scary, and the victims of Tartar, including 8, all regain their memories.